Hey, this is Wileen Benson, and you are on the Daily Gratitude Call, where we start every day in gratitude. Gratitude is the highest energy state that we can be in. It creates a frequency of positive vibration that attracts positive experiences into our lives. Hey everybody, this is Wileen Benson. This is our Daily Gratitude Call. Super excited to be on the call today. We've got a new person that hasn't joined us before live, and so excited for what we get to create today. I just want to encourage anybody, if you've listened to the podcast and you haven't been on live, this is a really powerful way to start your morning. So I encourage you to try it out. Try being on live. Everybody that's here on live, this is, you guys are the ones who create this. And so, of course, this is going to be probably more meaningful to you than it is for anybody else, because you're part of this and you get to add, and, we get to edify each other here. So thank you all for being on the call live. And also those who are listening to the podcast, I encourage you to grab some paper and a pen, get yourself into a quiet space and participate fully as if you're here live. We're going to be doing a 90-second meditation in just a moment. And so you'll want to grab your paper and pen, write down whatever thoughts come to you. This is your personal inspiration on this particular subject that we're going to be focusing on gratitude for today. We had several things mentioned today that a lot about, like, the science of physics and, the different things that just synchronicity kind of come together, coincidences and things like that really can be explained if we really understand the laws of physics, and even like crossing boundaries into alternate universes, like with visions and dreams and thoughts of, when we feel like we are in the presence of someone who has passed on, that we feel kind of their presence with us. There's a lot of different ways that, we live in this mortal world, but we don't realize that there's so many alternate universes around us that, if we are open to it, we can cross those boundaries and we can actually feel or experience things in other realities. And just like with physics, experiencing the laws of the universe, creation, all of that. When we're using our imagination, we're stepping into an alternate universe where something actually exists. So I just thought it would be fun for us to focus on gratitude for crossing boundaries today. And it doesn't necessarily have to be about, what I've shared. I mean, crossing boundaries could be crossing social boundaries. I mean, there's like a million different things that we could focus on. So let's just take a moment and just kind of clear your mind of what you think you know about crossing boundaries. And we're going to focus for 90 seconds, silent meditation, just writing down whatever comes to you on gratitude for crossing boundaries. Begin. All right. That is, our 90 seconds is up. And I just want to share the boundaries that I've been crossing are sort of like comfort zone boundaries. And even social boundaries where I might not have been comfortable to talk about certain things in the past with certain people. I'm like, so what? It's kind of the feeling that I have. I had a lady reach out to me on Facebook. She friended me and we were having a little conversation. And she shared with me that she was in the process of leaving all spirituality behind. And in talking to her, I could tell that she was in pain, that she was really hurting emotionally. And I knew that my book, The Seven Gateways, Your Map to Integrity in Life and Business, I knew that that would be the exact perfect tool that she needed to help her get out of her funk. And I offered that to her. I suggested the book, and then I followed up and I said, but you have to know it is decidedly Christian. It's definitely Christian. And so if you're open to that, because I know, you're in the process of leaving all spirituality behind. And I could have easily said, I have something, and apologized that it was Christian or whatever, or not even offered it to her and just thought, oh, well, she probably wouldn't want it, because she's leaving spirituality. But I knew that that was what she needed. And so I shared that with her, but I was very upfront with her and told her, and she declined because she said, that wasn't going to be in alignment with her path, with where she was going. And I'm like, okay, so, what do you need? And so I'm kind of been waiting for her to answer. I asked her that, I think it was like Friday or Saturday, and she hasn't answered, but there might be some way that I can still support her and serve her. But whatever it is, I'm going to be definitely open and upfront about who I am. And I think in the past, my comfort zone would have been, I would have tried to support her in a way that was, that I felt was in alignment. I try to figure it out. But now I'm just like, this is me. And if you want to, I know that this would help you. And if you want to do it, this is what it's going to be about. I also was supporting someone else. This is someone who is not a new friend. This is somebody who's been in my life for years, probably about 10 years. And he's been struggling with addiction all of that time. And he's going through a time right now where he's needing some emotional support. And I know over the years he has closed the door on God. And but I supported him, when we were talking on through Facebook Messenger. I had no fear and no remorse and no tiptoeing around telling him that the most important thing for him to do right now is to know his value in God's eyes, to realize that he is a son of God and that he is worth, he is value, he is invaluable, he is priceless in the eyes of God, and to really understand that for himself. And I don't know if he'll receive it completely, but it seems to be exactly what he needed to hear that day. And I could have definitely, like I said, tiptoed and not shared that and tried to support him in a way that, he felt like he needed. But honestly, for me, that is the foundation of everything. And so if you can't believe that, then I don't think I can help you. So anyway, that's what I wanted to share. Who else has something that they would like to share about gratitude for crossing boundaries?
I'd like to share something.
Okay, thanks, Daniel.
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you for what you mentioned. It's profound.
Thank you.
For me, crossing boundaries is, I kind of think of myself, or my own self, as a boundary, barrier that I have to overcome.
Mm-hmm.
And it's important because the idea of synchronicity is precisely that. it's a way to, to affirm, our shared reality. And it's just something that happens, it's coincidental, but it's yet meaningful.
Wow.
Just like this call, it's something that just happens, and all of a sudden, 2 or 3 people get together, or 4 or 5 or whatever, and we have something greater than ourselves. Thank you.
Wow, beautiful. Thank you. I'd never considered that each one of us has our own reality. And so when we have a synchronicity happen between or any kind of a connection, where we just really feel each other and we know what's going on in that person's, that empathy that we feel, or even just empathic, um, shared emotions, compassion that we feel for people, we are crossing boundaries. We're creating a connection between 2 realities. Thank you. I love that. Who else has something that they'd like to share?
Just real quick, Wileen, going off of what Daniel said when he said, we find something greater than ourselves. The overlying thought that came up for me was that you never know what is possible until you try. And I think once we're willing to open ourselves up to step across boundaries, we a lot of times are absolutely amazed at what we receive.
Wow, beautiful. Thank you so much. You are absolutely right. Until we cross that boundary of what we think we know, oh my gosh, we would never experience anything new if we weren't willing to do that. Thank you. Who else?
Hi, William.
Hey, Leland.
Just kind of going over crossing boundaries on where some of us might have been a year ago, and change that we could have chosen not to take. That would have been a different reality for some of us, where we are now. Because I know last year, or well, I guess a little over a year ago for me now, that I was still working a 9-to-5 job, and now the changes that I've made, I now have the free time and the availability to be here on calls like this. While before, I know it would have been the option I'd be already at work and already be onto the day already. So it's nice to have these sorts of options because we've made that choice already. So
beautiful. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I had the same experience when I decided to quit my job. I had found something that there was no guarantee, that it was continue, but I had found an opportunity where I was making about $3,000 a month. And at the time, my job was only bringing in about $1,200 a month. And those of you who know me, my husband's disabled, and I still had, all 3 of my kids at home. This has been about 7-8 years ago, something like that. And we were not making it. We were in the whole $1,800 a month every single month, and we were just relying on divine providence to help us get through. And I remember making that choice after I'd had 3 months in a row with this new opportunity where I made $3,000. I was like, if I quit my job, then I can put more effort into this opportunity and, hopefully produce more. But there was no guarantee. So I definitely, crossed a boundary to, to create freedom for myself. I was bound to $1,200 a month until I allowed myself to have the freedom to have more. And it's a scary thing, Leland. I'm there with you, but I remember there would be times when I would just break down and cry because I was so grateful that I had the freedom to be able to, that I wasn't tied to that 9-to-5 job. It was like 8-to-6 job was one I had. But it's super powerful to create that freedom for ourselves just by crossing a boundary. Who else? Let's get maybe one more share and then we'll head over to our permission process.
I think it's pretty much been said in what I'm going to say, but I'm really grateful that crossing boundaries helps me see if that's where I want to be or not.
Oh.
And Yeah, and it helps me to see clearly. It just helps me see if that's where I want to be or not. I had an example, but basically that's the gist of it. Is like crossing boundaries helps me see whether that's where I want to be or not.
Wow, powerful. Thank you. We can't really know until we try. Thank you. All right. I know there's more that could be shared, but I'm going to encourage you to go to the Facebook group Breakthrough with Gratitude and share there with any other thoughts that you have. We're going to go ahead and shift over to our permission process. And so let's everybody just go ahead and take a deep breath. And since we've talked about crossing boundaries, it actually kind of has broken down those boundaries so that they're not as fearful. For me anyway, that's what it feels like. It's just like, oh, it's just a boundary. It's just like it's just an energetic field that we can just cross and just kind of check out, see what's on the other side. No big deal. Take another deep breath. And I'm just going to invite you all to be open to know, what is one boundary that you have set for yourself where you have been trapped somehow inside of a comfort zone or a safety place where you've been a little bit afraid to cross this boundary, not really sure what's on the other side. Maybe it's a boundary, a social boundary, not walking on eggshells, not afraid to say something to someone. Or maybe it is a new level of being that you have been afraid to step up to. Maybe it's like Leland and you have been trapped inside of a job that you feel like is not serving you, it's not fulfilling, and you've been afraid to cross that boundary. Maybe you love your job and it's time to ask for a raise and you've been afraid to do that. Whatever boundary that you have set for yourself, maybe it's a level of success that you've been willing to receive, a level of money, abundance that you've been willing to receive in your life, level of intimacy that you've been willing to accept and experience. Whatever it is, just become really clear, write down what that boundary is, what that means to you. And what is the limiting belief that has kept you from crossing that boundary in the past? What's the limiting belief that has kept you trapped? And as you look at that limiting belief, at one time, this limiting belief was very useful to you. Limiting beliefs are always useful when they keep us safe. But at some point, they become more of a prison than they become a safety zone. And so just check out that limiting belief and examine, what is the cost now that you're really conscious with it and knowing that you can cross these boundaries, that it's safe to cross these boundaries. What is the cost of having and keeping that limiting belief? And if you don't like that cost, if you are deciding right now that limiting belief is actually costing you too much, then you can give yourself permission to choose a new belief. And if you're ready to give yourself permission to choose a new belief, say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Awesome. So what are those new beliefs? What are some new beliefs that are going to take the place of that old limiting belief, will allow you to cross these boundaries, to step into a new way of being? What are the new beliefs that support the new person that you want to become? Let's get 2 or 3 new beliefs. Write those down so they feel really positive, give you confidence to cross those boundaries, and will support you on the other side. And these really are more true than the limiting beliefs. And go ahead and look over your list of new beliefs and just do a check. As you're envisioning yourself stepping across these boundaries, stepping into a new way of being, just check in with these new beliefs and make sure that they're going to support you in this new place that you're stepping into. And these new beliefs are the faith, the light, the confidence, the courage that will really empower you to be able to cross these boundaries. So just embrace those, hang on to those. These are tangible, they're just words, but they are tangible things that will help give you confidence and courage to step across these boundaries. And with these new beliefs, I invite you to envision yourself physically stepping across the line, tearing down the wall, opening the prison door, whatever it is, whatever feels right for you. Just envision yourself crossing these boundaries and stepping into this new way of being, stepping into this new world that the new beliefs exist in. And what is the one most important thing that you could do today that will give you evidence of these new beliefs, that they are true, that you can have the courage to step across these boundaries? What is the one most important thing that intuitively you know is the only thing that you need to do to get to have courage to step across these boundaries? What's your inspired shortcut to becoming this new person that you want to be? In a moment, I'm going to open it up for some shares, and I just want to thank all of you for participating in this call today. I know for some of you, this may have been crossing a boundary to even get on the call. It might have been, going against something that you were feeling. Maybe it was just like, I want to sleep in today. I don't want to get on the call today. I'd rather just, be lazy. Or maybe, you have an appointment and you needed to hurry and jump in the shower, and you're like, well, that can wait. I'm going to get on the call. So I really appreciate you crossing any of those boundaries of doubt or worry or fear, or, thinking that you didn't have time, or whatever it is, to be on the call today. This has been a powerful mastermind that we've created today. And I know it's been very helpful to me. And also, I know for all of you, it's just been really awesome. So I thank you. Anybody who feels like they would like to have a connection with me about this, if you're feeling, like you need some extra support in any area that we've talked about, I would love to have that conversation with you. You can schedule a 15-minute call with me by just going to AskWileen.com. So AskWileen.com takes you directly to my calendar, and you can schedule a free 15-minute call. And that's open for anybody listening to this, whether this is your first time or if it's your 50th time being on this call. I would love to have a conversation with you if you feel like you need that extra support. Who has something that they would like to share about their experience today?
I would like to share.
Okay, thanks, Mary.
My where I've been stuck, and I feel, and this is for the whole world to hear, because it's recorded.
That's right.
So, but for me, it's been a financial social boundary.
Mm.
So they're combined. And the thing for me it's been scary. If I cross over into this financial social success, in what I consider success, then I'm expected whatever. I'm expected, there's expectations. And that's a bit scary, but that's just my limiting belief that I'm expected to be or do, or whatever that might be. So the cost is, of course, I'm just held back. from experiencing more of what I can have in my life. So my new beliefs are: I am supported as I move across boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
I am confident as I step into, I didn't finish that, but I'm confident as I step into a new realm. And I am freely stepping into new possibilities.
Beautiful. I love that. I have a thought that might help you with that second one.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of like stepping into, because that's still seeing I'm in a different place than them. It's like I'm stepping into their world. What if you just included others in your world?
Okay, that's
Something to consider.
Yeah, it is. I would
love,
like to add that go ahead.
no, you go ahead and then I'll share.
Okay. I just wanted to say my next step is to keep going.
Nice. Yeah, because you're kind of at a place where if you don't let that boundary be gone, you are going to stay stuck where you're at, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so if you're going to keep going, that boundary has to disappear.
Yes.
Cool. I love that. I love that you shared about this financial social boundary. It's something that we don't talk about, in social settings about, my financial situation, your financial situation, they're different, so we can't associate, or whatever. And there's also like the kind of the keeping up with the Joneses sort of thing. If I have money, then I have to let other people see that I have money or something. But that's not really true. I mean, there's even a book called The Millionaire Next Door or something like that. That's like, there are people who are millionaires that you don't even know that they are, because they're just normal people. And my experience of people who have wealth and they are authentic, that they talk about just the same things that everybody else talks about. And the cool part about people who have got the financial thing figured out is they want to help other people to figure it out too. It's people who don't have it figured out that are so worried and fearful about it. So it'll be an interesting experience for you, I think, Mary, stepping into these new beliefs.
Thank you. I hope I can say one more thing.
Yeah, go for it.
That I just thought, I am freely me doing what I love.
I love
I don't have
it.
to be like everybody else, but
Yes.
Freely me doing what I love.
Wow. So true. That's kind of what I was getting at with the keeping up with the Joneses, like comparison. Yeah. You are on your own journey and
Mm-hmm.
you can just be you regardless of how much money you make. I love that. Well, I would love to hear more shares, but we have gone beyond our time. So we are going to go ahead and end the call today. Again, I encourage you to go to the Facebook group, Breakthrough with Gratitude, share your thoughts there. We love to support each other there. And thank you all for being on the call today. We'll look forward to tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Mountain Time, and excited for what we get to learn today as we go forward with our Inspired Shortcut, taking our Inspired Shortcut, and then also how this is going to build over the week. So thank you all for being on the call today. Love you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks so much for listening. And I encourage you to tune in every day to the Daily Gratitude Call. And the Daily Gratitude Call happens live every weekday morning. I'd love to have you join. So to find out how to join live, go to my website, WileenBenson.com. Thanks for tuning in.